Welcome to Sikh Express. Today we are here with human rights activist Mr. Navkiran Singh. He is a senior advocate also. Sir, can you tell us something about the honor killings in Punjab and Haryana and how this problem can be dealt with?
Well, as far as Punjab is concerned, the honor killing is not at that scale in which Haryana is really diseased of this. But in Punjab also there are few cases in a year. But by and large, people in Punjab are above the caste lines and are broad-minded. So they are not as orthodox as in Haryana. So if you see the young children getting married out of their caste, out of their religion, daily around 20-30 couples come to the High Court and get security orders. And if you, in comparison to that, if you see in Haryana, people are not so aware of their rights and the society is very orthodox and people don't take the risk of marrying outside the caste or outside the religion. So in Haryana, it's a total different situation, being an orthodox society. But in Punjab, people by and large have now accepted love marriages, and honor killing is not as high as in Haryana.
So the other problem is Punjab is that the daughters who are married outside India, now they face a lot of problems. Now how can that problem be touched?
You see, Punjabis by nature, they are adventurous people, and they want to go to far off places to have a better life and to rise in life. And in that, I think, in that zeal and in that efforts, people take certain decisions which are not really right for the children. And that is the reason that there are lots of cases where young brides have been abandoned by the NRI boys, and they come and get married in Punjab and they don't take the girls abroad along with them. But being a human rights lawyer and having a 30 years experience at the bar, I feel that a lot of it is also due to the reason that where the boys get married, and during the period when the girl has to go to abroad, the boys want that the girl should be living with their parents, and there is a generational gap, and in that generational gap, the girl who is staying in the in-laws' house is often ill-treated, and she is not really given the same respect which she will get if her husband is around. And that is also one of the great reasons for breakdown of marriages. But of course there are frauds in the society, and there are good and bad people. But by and large, people want to go forward, and that's why there's a very high incidence where the girls are left behind.
So what do you have to say about human rights? Now in Punjab there is a very bad track record of human rights. Now how can that problem be touched?
You see, human rights violations are order of the day in India. It's a third world country, and we have such a large population, and we have not trained our police force to investigate the crime. So the only thing which has been taught to them is that if you beat a person or hang him upside down, you'll get the truth out. So they don't adopt the scientific methods to investigate a crime. And that is the reason that third-degree torture is a routine matter in the police stations. Even in the jails, people are tortured. And since there is a deep nexus of the politicians with the police officials, and the police officials are used by the politicians for their ends, for political ends, so they don't want to punish the police officials who are indulging into human rights violations. And that's the reason that the human rights violation keeps on going on. And only Rarely would you find a judgment where some human right violator has been dealt by the court. And even if he has been dealt at one stage, he doesn't lose the job. And we have in Punjab people who are great human right violators, yet they are on active duty. And people who have been convicted, they have been given pardons by the governor of Punjab, and they are also on active duty. So it's a vicious circle.
So in 1980s and 1990s, there were a lot of cases related to human rights violations, and you are also dealing with some of them. Can you throw a little light on them? At what stage are they, and what do you expect of those cases? And some of the people have even completed the sentences, but they have not been released by the government.
You see, there was a time from 1984 till 92 when a large number of Sikh youth who were asking for a separate state, and they were being targeted, and people who were involved in militant activities, they were killed in false encounters, they were abducted, and their whereabouts are not known. It's not only that people who were armed were killed, people who had the same voice, and there were people who never went near violence, and there were journalists, lawyers, even retired high court judges who were kept in illegal detention, who were killed. So there was a rampant human rights violation, and the state also condoned all those human rights violations, saying that this is essential to condone so that the security of the nation and the integrity of the nation can be kept intact. So Punjab went into a great bad times from 1984 to 92, and we lost around 35,000 people in that time. And though many cases were also registered, and there were CBI inquiries, there were session judge inquiries, but we were hardly able to get around 200 to 300 policemen convicted for the crimes. So this is what happened in Punjab. But on the other hand, with the Sikh community, everybody knows what happened in 1984 after the killing of late Prime Minister of the country, how Sikhs were targeted throughout the country, and around 5,000 Sikhs were burnt alive or killed, and people give higher figures, but this is what the official figures are. And so what happened in the state, everybody knows, and it's in a similar fashion that now in Haryana the same things have been replicated. So people have been killed, their houses were burned down, and even women have been raped on the highway. And so that's a kind of situation where the minorities or people of a particular ethnicity are targeted at large.
Whom do you blame for all this? Is it the politicians, or is it the anti-social elements? What kind of people are involved in these kind of activities?
See, I personally blame the politicians, because the sole purpose for a politician is to remain in power, and he doesn't care how many people he has to kill. And there is a problem with the Indians also. We are castes, we are not secular, so our emotions are roused by the slogans of the politicians, and they do so that all the people come close together, and there is the vote bank is strengthened. So they raise such slogans, and we are very easy targetable. And since we are not secular as such, and ultimately
latest happenings in JNU and Hyderabad and other places, and now with the coming in of the right-wing parties at the center, do you think that the atmosphere is more vitiated, and the sedition charges, what do you have to say about that?
Well, JNU has always been a very open society, and but this time when the meetings took place, this is beyond the point as to whether those slogans have been doctored or not. But if you really hear those slogans, whosoever gave those slogans, if you go into those slogans, they end up somewhere crossing the line. And those slogans are, in fact, from a lawyer's point of view, because I have studied sedition law and I have my clients for whom I got the sedition charges quashed from the High Court. Now, all those judgments say that you don't have to cross a line where you are going to preach violence. So some of those slogans, whether they are doctored or not, that is a part of the investigation. But somewhere that line was crossed. But there was a deep-rooted conspiracy of the right-wing party, and the ABVP was losing control. So they were waiting for a excuse to really curb the activities of the people who are raising their democratic voices in JNU. And Kanhaiya, directly I can say with confidence, is a part of that conspiracy in which he has fallen it. But people should restrain themselves, because we also support the Kashmiris for their self-determination. And we also support the people who say that they want separate states and their separate nations. And even the Supreme Court says that there is no sedition when you ask that you want a separate state in the country, but you should not preach violence. So somewhere that line has been crossed, and I think it's good that these things have come into picture, and the sinister designs of the right-wing Hindu party would also be revealed. But somewhere people have to
be more cautious about
it.
So now, what do you have to say about the Sikh Marriage Act as such?
Well, you see, the demand for a Sikh Marriage Act is pending since last so many years, and rather we filed a petition in the High Court saying that all the laws which are named as Hindu laws, such as Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, they all should be changed to the name of either Indian Succession Act or Bharatiya Succession Act, because Hindu word connotes a particular religion, and Sikhs are deeply irritated when a word is used that they are Hindus, because they, after becoming a Sikh, one doesn't remain a Hindu. So once that irritant is there, so this demand will keep on raising. We are not opposed to the act, the Hindu Marriage Act or Hindu Succession Act. The acts are very good. They relate to the culture and religious rights of the Sikhs. But now the amendment which is being sought by, I think Mr. Gandhi, Member of Parliament, has sought that fresh law should be there of Hindu Marriage Act or Sikh Marriage Act. So that act would be, in fact, an act which would contain the provisions of divorce, how to get married, how to get marriage registration. A part of the demand of the Sikhs was met when they made an amendment in the North Marriage Act for getting the marriage registered. But still, in 90% of India, we don't have those rules where a person can get the marriage registered under the
And what about Article 25, where the identity of Sikhs should be different, or so the matter goes beyond that, Jains and the Buddhists and everybody is covered under the term Hindu. Now, do you want that should also be changed a little bit?
I think that is the main source of discrimination. And even if you see from a different angle, because what actually they have done over there is, under Article 25, they say that the Hindu word, the Hindu laws, the Hindus will be considered to be Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists also. Basically, it was the legislature, I suppose, wanted to say that for these people, the Hindu law would be also good enough.
Applicable.
But somewhere it was not rightly put before the general public, and the Sikhs feel that that is a discrimination act, and that is the reason that the law commission report, the last law commission report, said that you should amend that particular portion of the constitution. And if it's an irritant to a Sikh community, and Buddhists have also said that it's an irritant, though Jains are very
Okay with it.
yeah, okay with it, because they feel they're almost Hindus and they are not practicing really Jainism to such an extent. But if suppose a part of a community who has played a greater role in independence of India feels that that's an irritant, I don't think it should be a big issue to remove that. And the Sikhs want to be known as Sikhs because they are Sikhs and not part of the Hindus, and that irritant should be removed at the earliest.
So the Akalis came to power saying that they would be sympathetic towards the people who have been falsely implicated in various cases. But has that really happened?
Whosoever will come in power, Akalis or Congress or any other party, they can never punish the wrongdoers, because the wrongdoers are the police officials, and the police officials are used by the politicians for their ulterior motives. So till you are able to punish the wrongdoers who violate the human rights, who use their power at the asking of the people in power, I don't think so it's going to happen anytime. It may be Akalis or the Congress or maybe a third party which may come into power. I don't feel that the system is so strong enough that you can really deal with the police officials, which are a big organized.
We take a short break, but do not go away. We have a special story on how the terrorist activities were promoted by the political parties in Punjab. We also have a special story on how the terrorist activities were suppressed by the political connivance with various political parties in which the state administration was involved. So last time also we talked about the drugs and the problems related to drugs. Now we have seen Pathankot. You last time talked about narco terrorism.
Right.
Now is that a major thing which can happen again in Punjab?
You see, narco terrorism was used for the first time by us in the Punjab Haryana High Court in the public interest litigation, and nobody used to take it seriously. And in that petition which is pending in the High Court, we had time and again said that you have to seal the borders, you have to make it foolproof, the BSF needs surveillance equipment, and nobody was bothered about that. And now, after the incident of Pathankot, the Union of India has started reacting in the public interest litigation. Now they say we are going to do this, we are going to make everything fine. Now that's the real problem of this country. They only rise to the occasion when some big incident takes place. Before that, there is no security in the country. So it is a blessing in disguise, and it was a small wake-up call for the country to control the narco terrorism. And I think narco terrorism was not being controlled because it was only affecting the state of Punjab. And affecting the state of Punjab means affecting the Punjabis as such. So Punjabi youth was being abandoned by the nation because they were not interested in their welfare. And now when the terrorism has entered the Air Force station and the security of nation is involved, I think this is going to change the scene, and even the Punjabi youth will be getting a chance to be saved from the narco terrorism.
So now the other problem is related to the governance in Punjab. Now people say that it is because of bad governance that the problem of drugs and certain other things have come in Punjab. Do you agree with that kind of a thing?
You see, the careless attitude is there in all the functionaries of the state. But in Punjab, it's something different. I think they are mixed up with the mafia, because the political system, the police system, and the mafia, they're all operating in tandem. And the mafia is not being broken for the reason that you need money to run politics, and this drug money is being used in politics by all the political parties who have remained in power in Punjab. So how to really finish that, how to really cut off that system, it's going to take much time. It's not just filing public interest litigation. The people have to rise to the occasion. Yesterday I was in a college giving a short speech on drug issues, and I was telling the students that you have to rise for the occasion. Don't vote for the party which distributes drugs to you. Don't vote for the party which you think is being financed by the drug cartels. So people have to rise to the occasion until they understand that the problem is so mammoth that it's going to suck the whole Punjabis. Things are not going to come to really a situation where Punjab can flourish.
Now, see, the other problem is about governance, which we talked about earlier also. Now, is it due to the bad governance that the farming sector is not doing well, and then we talk about the industrial sector, most of the industries are moving out, the education system is more or less collapsing. Now, whom do you blame for this?
It's bad governance. The educational system is a breakdown in Punjab. The health system is a breakdown. It's a blessing in disguise that the private schools came up during this period, and the young children of the villages could get the good education. Had they been dependent upon the government schools, they would have never get the education. The health system has been replaced by private health system. So people have started affording private health facilities, but the poor are still suffering because they cannot afford a private school or a good health system. So government at all levels, like I used to think that why can't the problems of farmers be solved? Like all the people who are in power in Punjab or in Haryana, 90% are from the rural background. So they understand the problems of the people who are in the fields, and they have an agricultural background. Yet when they come into power, they stop looking towards them. They stop giving them enough facilities how to store them. You see, it's a travesty that till today India does not have a system to store their grains. Grains are being stored in open, eaten by rats or vagaries of nature. So around 20 to 30% of the country's grains just go down the drain. So it's a total misgovernance at the national level also, at the state level also, and the people in power are not really interested, and ultimately the farmers are committing suicide because you can't get enough produce out of the farms in order to survive, and the loans have been taken so much by the farmers to meet their basic needs. So ultimately people are suffering. But I don't know when there will be a pro-people government at the center or the state. But that's what we really need.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.